Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting a f***ing ring on our finger.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is November 5th, 2022. We got a big game tomorrow.
Big game.
Big game. We are going to have to play the team that's beaten us like 3 years in a row or something.
Outside of the New Orleans Saints, I would say they are our nemesis.
Well, you know what's crazy is we have been in sync with them pretty much our whole existence and their whole existence. You know, we played them in the NFC Championship in 1999. They ended up winning a Super Bowl with Kurt Warner. Then we ended up winning a Super Bowl in 2002. And here we are. We won a Super Bowl, and then they won a Super Bowl right behind us.
And they had to do exactly what we did in their home stadium.
Yeah, they couldn't let us have that, could they?
Ridiculous. But they were also, when I started being a Bucs fan, were terrible, just like we were. We were all synced up. I think at the time they had Sam Bradford.
Synced up in the terribleness. Mm-hmm. In the terribleness. Hey, before we get into that game, let's talk about the Ravens game a little bit. We were not able to do a podcast after that game. I wanted to. I have been pushing to get a podcast done, but we just haven't been able to. And, now I've been like obsessed with that game for the past week and a half. And I had a lot to say, and now I'm just kind of over it.
It's like fatigued.
Yes.
You're like,
yes, I burned myself out with it.
Overdosed on it.
Yes, I got a video out yesterday. I had the video done like 5 days ago, but I needed some touching up, and then a bunch of stuff happened. I wasn't able to get it touched up and uploaded, and I got it up yesterday. I wasn't even going to do it yesterday. I was like, screw it. I'll just wait and do the Rams game. But, there were some interesting things in that game. I did a reaction video after that Baltimore game, and I really blasted the Bucs, especially the defense. Just really went at them, which is uncharacteristic.
You don't normally do that, yeah. And especially like the picture on YouTube was like the Bucs suck.
Yeah.
Which you don't do.
No.
Typically.
No. And I even said that in the video. I'm a rah-rah guy. I don't like to talk bad, but the performance on the field the past few weeks has been absolutely atrocious. And in that Ravens game, we had such high expectations that they were going to make a comeback, and they started. The first quarter and a half, they looked really good.
Yeah, I went to bed at halftime. They looked okay. I was not concerned. I felt pretty good about the game when I went to bed.
Oh, you never watched the whole game?
I did not.
Why didn't we watch?
I don't know. I really, how I get so,
yeah.
And especially like the fan reaction and the media where everyone's kind of attacking certain people on the team. I don't handle that well, I guess. Mm-hmm. And so I think kind of a self-preservation.
Yes. You do not like bad feelings. So
nope.
You avoid them at all costs.
So I avoid them, exactly.
But, Devin White really got blasted. He got blasted on the broadcast. The announcers really went after him. And they showed clips. And, I've been talking about him since the middle of the Atlanta game. Something happened, and from watching all 22, it looked, he kind of got rolled up on his ankle and his leg. It was just in a weird position, and then it seemed like after that he was very gun shy about making tackles, and he would actually back off, from the ball carrier, and it's just not like him. So I was like, oh, maybe he's hurt. But then the next couple of weeks against Pittsburgh and who else was it? Who did we play?
Carolina?
Yeah, Carolina. He was not performing well at all, and it didn't look like it was injury. It looked more like he just didn't want to be out there or something. I don't know. He wasn't playing well, and then so when the Baltimore game come, and then they started going after him, I was like, well, yeah, this is really bad. You know, the clips they showed, and you could see it on the field. You know, the center coming out and just driving Devin White down the field.
Got us like 15 yards.
It's 20 at least, a couple times. And so I was like, man, I've had enough. You know, he needs to be held accountable. And then Todd Bowles, in the press conference, everybody started asking him about Devin White. And he said, I have no problem with Devin White. His play is not bothering me at all. I don't know what you guys are talking about, basically. And I was thinking to myself, this guy's insane.
Like typical Todd Bowles.
Right.
Kind of, there's no problem. It's fine.
Right. And so I went in to watch the All 22, and I got the defense done. And then I wanted to, I got probably about the first quarter done of the offense. But the defense kind of surprised me because what it looked like on the broadcast version was they just quit or get ever gassed, one of the two. You know, but to me, it just flashbacks of 2011. You know, it just seems like this whole team is in a funk, and I feel like nobody's playing well. Nobody wants to be out there. There's no excitement. Mm-hmm. There's no joy. There's no oomph.
Like something's very wrong. It feels like culturally in the locker room.
Yes. And so I go and I watch the All 22, and I'm fully expecting to see the bad crap I've seen the past few weeks where, you know, horrible communication on the defense. Guys are totally running the wrong play. You know, that I pointed that out in some of the Tiffy videos. That, you know, we've had quite a few plays where guys are lost. They don't know what's going on. Or they're running man while everybody else is running zone, including Devin White. Mm-hmm. And Devin White is the leader. He's the play caller. He's the one that needs to make sure.
He should know what they're running.
You would think. There were some plays where he was the one that was confused. So I fully expected to see that when I watched the Baltimore tape, but I was actually surprised because Devin White did not play bad. It was actually the best game he's had since the Atlanta game. Now, he didn't play good. Nobody played good. Mm-hmm. But it was nowhere near what I thought I was going to see. And the team didn't quit. They played hard all the way, or the defense did, all the way through that game till that whistle blew. And that shocked the hell out of me because on the broadcast, I just saw it just looked like loafing and nobody really giving their all. And it was the All 22 was the exact, or not the exact opposite, but that wasn't there. Everybody played hard until then. The big factor in that game that made us look so bad, and I hate to be this guy because it does. It sounds like a sore loser, and I'm just making excuses and everything. But this is 100% beyond a doubt. You know, I put it in the video. The damn holding. I had 22 uncalled holds with the Baltimore Ravens. And they're masters at it. I mean, they are trained and they practice this stuff because a lot of it, I didn't even count as a holding because I couldn't see it. But I knew it was holding. You could just tell by the way guys were being twisted and jerseys were getting yanked and all this, but you couldn't see the holding. So I try not to write those down. Mm-hmm. You know, if you can't see it, you know, I don't want to complain about it. So there's 22 that you can see and a crap ton more that you can't, but it's like there's two referees that are in charge of calling holds, and it's the umpire and the line judge. I can't remember. One of the guys that stands on the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. And they're the two that are in charge of making sure that the offensive line doesn't hold. And it's like, I feel like the Baltimore Ravens know where they're at all times. And they were very judicious and very good with their holds. They would hold at the right time in the right places that they needed to hold. I mean, sometimes they did. They really went after Devin White. I don't know what was going on, if he's had a skirmish with them before, or there was guys that they don't like each other, or if Harbaugh, which this is probably what it is, Harbaugh said, go after Devin White. And, if we can take him out of the game, then we can just run it all over top of the Buccaneers. And that's what they did. I mean, they went after Devin White. They targeted him. But they were so good at the holding. I mean, they really had it down to a science. I mean, I really want to go through and watch some of the Baltimore Ravens' previous All-22 footage for this year and see if they're doing this, throughout the game. But like I said, they weren't doing it. It wasn't like they were getting beat and then they reached out and grabbed the guy. They were purposely holding guys to move them, for run plays and all that. It was very judicious. They knew what they were doing, and they did it on purpose, and they did it very well. It was very, very impressive, to be honest with you. And the NFL has, they came out a couple years ago and they said that they are not going to have an emphasis on holding anymore unless it's blatant and obvious, I think was what they had said, the head of officiating. And teams are starting to take advantage of that. And I think the Ravens have said, hey, we're going to hold as much as we can. I think they had 2 holding penalties in this game. But they said, we're going to hold right up to the limit. And that's a part of their game now. And I honestly think the Buccaneers need to start doing that. Buccaneers offensive line.
You've been saying it since, I don't know, like when we played week 2 with the Chiefs.
That was week 4.
Oh, okay, week 4. Because they were another team that kind of used it to their advantage. And we haven't adjusted to it. No,
not at all. Our guys look totally lost out there when they get grabbed.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I miss about Sue, because you just couldn't hold Sue. If you did hold Sue, he was going to make you pay for it the next play. He was going to drive you in the dirt. But generally, guys just couldn't hold him because he was big and strong, and he had all these techniques to get out of holding. And these guys, the Buccaneers defense, they've got to learn how to get off of a hold, or at least make it clear and obvious that they're being held. Something. They got to do something. Because this is the second game. We're only halfway in the season, and that's been 2 games where they've gotten dominated just through holding.
I think last year, the Rams, it was similar.
I think when we played them during the season, but then during the playoffs, they didn't at all.
Okay. So, and the Saints are another team. Pretty egregious with it.
This year, it's been, the Chiefs game was just crazy stupid. It was 30-some holds, I counted. And in this one, it was 22. But other than that, they didn't have any uncalled penalties. There was one roughing the passer that didn't get called. Guy hit Brady low, but it wasn't in the knees. It was in his thigh. But the guy took 2 steps before he hit Brady. Brady was not expecting it at all. I mean, he was looking and watching the pass, and it could have been very dangerous.
Yeah. Is that still a penalty if it's above the knee?
Well, you can't take more than 1 step.
To launch at him?
To hit him. You can't take 2 steps and hit the quarterback. You got 1 step. Brady threw the ball. The guy took 2 steps.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And hit him. So, and I saw it during the game, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go back and check that out. And sure enough, it was definitely. But the scary part of it is that Brady was not expecting it. And he had all of his weight on that leg, and that guy hit him. And he looked like it, it hurt. So, anyhow, yeah, the Ravens did a masterful job of holding. But the thing of it is they didn't have to do that. it just really made our defense look really bad because it looked like we weren't able to stop the run. We weren't able to, get into the gaps. We weren't getting to Lamar Jackson, all this good stuff. But it was because we were being held all over the damn place. And the thing of it is that even if they wouldn't have held, I think their offense would have beat our defense because their offense played incredible. I mean, Lamar Jackson, we've had this conversation about, people saying after Brady, can we get Lamar Jackson? And I'm like, I do not want Lamar Jackson because I just don't like these running quarterbacks.
Yeah, we don't like these running quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They don't have the longevity. They don't.
Right.
They're gimmicky.
Mm-hmm. And we'll see with Lamar Jackson. I think he's in this is his fourth year? Something of that nature. Yeah, so he's coming up, and he stayed relatively healthy. I mean, I think he was out.
He had weird illness that lasted a while.
Mm-hmm. And he got hurt
years.
last year. I think out for the last few games, whatever. But he takes some hits, so I don't know how long he's going to last. Yeah. But I tell you what, that guy. I used to talk about RG3. RG3 was one of the best option guys I've ever seen. He could do a handoff, and you had no idea who had the ball. Mm-hmm. And he was fantastic at it. Lamar Jackson is as good as that, but he doesn't have all the flaws that RG3 did. RG3 was absolutely horrible at decision making and passing, and he was fragile. Lamar Jackson doesn't have. I mean, he made great decisions against us. He was throwing great balls. He had a few misfires, but he was very calm, cool, collected. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we can't get any pressure on quarterbacks. But even when we did, he didn't panic.
Yeah.
But
and he puts up points, and so maybe he's one of those we're wrong about.
Oh yeah, I'd get him in a heartbeat.
You would?
Yes. In a heartbeat.
Interesting.
I think he could be a pocket passer too. If he starts to get injured, I think he could sit back there and sling the ball. I mean, he picked our defense apart. We couldn't do anything against him.
That's so impressive too, because he's still young. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's only been in the league 4 or 5 years. I don't know how long.
Yeah. He had, I've been doing this, watching the All 22 for quite a few years. And I love to see tells, especially with quarterbacks. And almost every quarterback's got a tell. And I can eventually, after I start watching for a while, I can predict exactly when they're going to snap the ball.
God, like Matt Ryan.
Oh, Matt Ryan was worse. I could predict to the millisecond when he was going to snap the ball. And Drew Brees was the same way because I've seen him so much. Lamar Jackson is the first quarterback that I would say I had no idea when he was going to snap that ball. Every single time. He changed his cadence, his pace, even the silent count. They switched up everything constantly.
Okay, now I gotta give him a lot of credit. That's incredible, and especially for a running quarterback to be most of the running quarterbacks, they rely on their athleticism and aren't good field generals. Yeah. Exactly. So it would be, I think the running quarterback would be workable if any of them were field generals that could, have that kind of, it's like pocket passers like Brady and Aaron Rodgers. They're very strategic. And the thing with the athletic quarterbacks, it doesn't seem like it's as strategic. It's
right,
more
they're more like hammers.
Instinctual. Yeah, it's instinctual. I feel pressure, so I'm going to run, rely on my speed. And so were you to get one who could play field general and then also had their legs, they could be dangerous.
Yes, and he is dangerous.
And that could be the future. That could be how the quarterback position is evolving.
I think it is. That's where it's heading. Yeah.
But it's interesting because we haven't really seen one yet that is the field general like that.
Right. Yeah. He got no happy feet. He didn't have no phantom pressure. And even when he was getting pressured, like if we would have our ends coming, he'd hang in there, to the last second. He wasn't like feet first. He wasn't like, I'm going to run, because I'm feeling that somebody might eventually come around the corner. He was a pocket passer that ran, and it's so strange because
that's such an interesting way to put it. A pocket passer that runs.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, he's got such a smooth release too. I was so impressed with him. This is trying not to make this a Lamar Jackson podcast, but I was very impressed with him. This is the first time I've seen a quarterback that we played that I've been just like, wow, that was incredible. But
it's very hard to impress you.
Yes, it is. But his snaps were different every single play. He would do silent count, but they sometimes he would do silent count, sometimes he wouldn't. Every time he went up to the line, it was something different. You never knew when that ball was going to snap. And they would have somebody going in the motion, and he'd snap the ball right before they got to the center. You're like, you don't expect that, and it made it so, okay, he's probably going to do an option with the running back, but then you got this guy shooting across the back of the line, so they might direct snap it to him, so our defense was in total discombobulation this whole game. They had no idea what was going to happen. And I had no idea what was going to happen, and I'd already seen the damn game. But he would do the silent count. And in silent count, they lift their legs up, they put their leg down. Now, sometimes the team will have a guard, will look back at the quarterback, and when he does that, the guard will set, and then he'll smack the center, and the center will hike it. Well, everybody knows when you're going to think of.
Yeah.
They would do that every now and then. But then sometimes they would do the silent count where Lamar Jackson would lift his leg up, and as soon as his leg would hit the ground, they'd snap it. Sometimes he would lift it up, and when it was in midair, they would snap it. Sometimes he would lift it up, set it down, lift it up again, set it down. It was amazing. I've never seen anything like that. It
sounds so intricate.
Very, very intricate.
But is it the offense?
What?
Is it the offense? Like, is it the coaching? Are those are the signals within the offense?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if Harbaugh has put all that stuff in there. Now, honestly, I think Lamar Jackson that's just his style. It kind of reminds me of Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was like that. He just confused you when he got up there.
Yeah. And
Lamar Jackson is that way. He's very strategic in what he does. And the option, the play actions, the fakes, he's a master at it. He was a master at it. He would fake out the camera guys constantly. Which
they have been subpar this year.
Yeah, that's true. But he was fake, and our defense is smart. We do not fall for that crap most of the time.
Levante in particular,
or Shaq Barrett.
Yeah,
Shaq Barrett never falls for that mess. He did in this game. There was a time that he got spun around quite a few times, lost, had no idea what was going on. And the all 22 camera people were getting confused. So the broadcast camera people were confused. The all 22 camera people were confused, couldn't figure out where the ball was at or when it was going to be snapped, because a lot of times they were still pointing at the scoreboard and the ball was snapped at the all 22. They'd have to put the camera down. They weren't expecting it. And so okay, you got the all 22 camera guys were confused. The broadcast guys were confused. Our whole defensive line is confused. The defensive ends were confused. Our linebackers were confused. This guy just bamboozles everybody.
How do you beat that? You can't beat that.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why I wish they wouldn't have held, because I would have really liked to see what our defense could have done against him. I think he still would have beat us, but it wouldn't have been as bad. It wouldn't have looked as bad as it did.
The score wasn't that bad either. It was 25-22 or
we got a garbage time touchdown basically. They kind of let us come down the field and drain the clock off. But then we had to kick an onside kick, and they got it. So. And they just kneeled on it. So, very impressed with Lamar Jackson. Not impressed with our defense, but I'm not as upset with them as I was after I watched it. And Devin White, it's the craziest thing. I mean, I was fully expecting to watch that all 22 and see the same crap I've been seeing for the past 3 weeks or worse. Mm-hmm. And I didn't. It was just the weirdest thing. I was kind of a little disappointed, to be honest, because I was really, I did that rant.
Because you had to do a mea culpa.
I did. I had to do an apology video just to apologize that, hey guys, I thought y'all quit. You didn't.
Yeah.
Y'all played, all the way to the whistle blew, man. Which I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Ravens, they did a really good job of picking apart our defense. They really attacked our weaknesses. They went after Devin White, but for one, they came out passing. Nobody was expecting that at all, But then they came out running at halftime and just ran it all over top of us, mainly because of the holding. But there was one point in I think it was the fourth quarter. They had a 9-play drive, okay? Went down the field, got to the, this was in the second quarter, 4:48. This is when they got down to about the 6-yard line, and it was a 4th and 2, and they went for it and didn't make it, okay? Yeah, they started off, in their side of the field, 9 plays, they drove all the way down to our 5 or 6 or whatever it was, and ended up with a 4th and 2. They passed the ball that whole drive. They passed it 9 straight times. But the crazy thing about that was 5 of those, 5 straight passes went at McCollum, Zion McCollum, our rookie.
See, that makes me think like they pick on people in particular.
Yes.
The Devin White thing, probably intentional.
Yes. Oh, no, there's no doubt in my mind they intentionally targeted him.
Oh, yeah. Well, Harbaugh, I think, has been around for so long.
Yeah, yeah.
It's probably one of his tricks.
Yes. Yeah, it was on the 9. They ended up on the Buccaneers 9. So, there was a 4th and 2, and they went for it, and that was what Dean had that excellent play, bad pass defense in the end zone. He used that closing speed and that length. Because it looked like he was 3 yards behind the receiver.
Yeah.
I would have thrown it too. And he just caught up, just batted the ball down. But yeah, 5 straight passes at Zion McCollum. That was
Poor kid. It's like Gedeke. You're like, yeah, I feel for you.
Got thrown to the lines.
Yeah.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, strangest thing, in the second quarter, 12:44 in the second quarter, the Ravens had a 13-play drive that took 6 minutes and 44 seconds. 13 plays. They went 22 yards.
Oh my
God. It was the weirdest thing in the world. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. 22 yards, 13 plays, almost 7 minutes. 22 yards.
So you get less than a yard a play, or less than 2 yards of play.
Less than 2 yards of play. They got as far as the Bucs 46 at one point, but then they got backed up.
Was it like penalties?
I can't remember. Yeah. No, sack.
Okay.
Sack. It might have been sacks, penalties, combination, everything. But they had 13 plays, 7 minutes, and went 22 yards. That was just crazy. But we couldn't get them off field. They were able to run on us, pass on us, do whatever they wanted. And it wasn't that our guys sucked. It really did seem like they were able to pick apart our defense based on strategy and knowing what we were going to be doing. And we had no idea at all, any play, what they were going to be doing. And it was really just to let them snap the ball and we'll try and figure it out from there. And you couldn't even do it then. The guy could. You had no idea where that ball was at.
So what do you think about their chances in the AFC? I mean, are they going to be up there with the Bills? I mean, everyone's crowned the Buffalo Bills the champion already.
They're a good team. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if what we saw against us was indicative of how they play, yeah, they're going to be a hard team to beat for anybody. But if our offense would have been working, we could have given them a run for their money, But man, we just do. I don't know what's going on with this team. I don't know.
It's so weird because we watched press conferences this week, and granted, it was not like the big names. It wasn't Tom Brady. It wasn't Mike Evans. It was like Jamel Dean. It was Anthony Nelson. And Nick Leverett had a press conference. They all seem fine.
Yes.
You can't tell anything's wrong. And so that was weird.
Very. But encouraging at the same time.
Yeah. Exactly.
I didn't want to see anybody mopey or sad. Devin White had, of course, everybody's on his butt. And so. Including
Warren Sapp, which I think really egged on the media.
Yes. And, he pretty much blew them off. And then he came out and said, hey, look, my team knows, what my deal is. They know I'm good. Basically, so let's end it.
Well, and Tom Brady came out and tweeted and was like, "We support you, Devin." Because Devin had replied to a Greg Allman tweet about the whole thing, and he just said, basically, like, "Yeah, the team knows." I think he addressed the one play and he said, I was like gassed, but you could see on this play, like I'm running across the field. So I'm still trying, kind of that was the sense that you got. And Tom Brady retweeted that one and said, like, basically, we support you. We have your back. So that was good to see.
Yeah. Yeah. And Pewter Report had tweeted out that Devin White is like the most overrated player ever.
Oh my God.
And Devin White blocked him.
Good. Where was all this criticism and the magnifying glasses when Gerald McCoy was captain of some very bad defense? It was historically bad.
He had games just like that where he would get pushed 15, 20 yards out of the picture.
And these same media members. Yeah. Report.
Do you notice they didn't do it? I mean, we've talked about Devin White's play over the past couple of weeks, ever since halfway through the Atlanta game, and the media didn't. They've never. This is the first time I've heard them say anything about it, and they didn't do it until the national media, the broadcasters, started.
And Warren Sapp.
And Warren Sapp.
So it was the broadcast. Then Warren came out and said it, and then the national media started. So, and apparently Levante David had a players only meeting this week with the players. So it's good to see. Yeah.
Whatever's going on here, it's 100% mental. Yeah. It's not, these guys are not bad players. They're
we know what they're capable of. I mean, we saw it, how dominant they were in 2020.
Yeah.
It's the same people.
And last year they were pretty good. Yeah. I mean, Devin White, I didn't think was that good last year. I don't think he was worthy of a Pro Bowl. That's for damn sure. But, he was great in the playoffs in 2020. I mean, he was one of the main reasons why we won a Super Bowl. So, these guys can play, and it's not like they're out there getting beat. They're not underskilled. It's a mental thing. And that's good news because that's easy to fix. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on. But it's the whole team. The only one that's doing good is Ryan Suckup. But everybody else is just, barely holding their head above water. I mean, when you've got Mike Evans dropping a sure touchdown pass right in his hands, and last week he dropped one, went right between his hands, hit him in the chest. And
I can't even keep track of the drops. Was this one this week the one where he was like gone?
No,
that was last week.
That was against the Steelers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like Chris Godwin is the same way.
Yes. Everybody.
Like,
and Lenny. I mean,
where's Lenny?
Yeah, there's no oomph there. Brady, you just look at Brady, there's something. I honestly, if I had to bet money on it, I would say the divorce is just really, really, really affecting him, and I think that's affecting the whole team.
But you gotta with like any kind of breakup or emotional thing, or a lot of your some people, they quit eating or they can't eat or whatever, you lose your appetite. His whole regiment is like predicated on this really strict diet that he adheres to. And how many calories does he require in a day? Probably 10,000. I don't know, 6, 8, whatever. So if you have no appetite, what is that? I mean, that's what fuels your body and also your brain.
Yes, and he just looks so gaunt. He did a press conference yesterday, and as soon as I was just like, God, he looks like a skeleton. He's lost so much muscle mass, and his shirts are all baggy on him and everything. But he did seem to be in good spirits, which is surprising because after that game, the media talked about how they'd never seen Tom Brady so despondent. He sat in his pads at his locker room for like 15 minutes. Everybody else was, changed, dressed, and gone, and Tom Brady's still sitting there, with his head hung. But it's good to see. It does seem like they're all this. And we got to remember, all that matters is winning the division. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. We do that. We're in the playoffs. And it's better for this to happen now than at the end of the season. And Brady has always talked about football starts in November. That's when it matters. And we've won 2 games in our division. We've lost against the Panthers, which total fluke there. I mean, it's just, that's not going to happen again, I don't think.
Well, that one's interesting to me. I just want to touch on that real quick. You can always tell with a team how hard they're fighting for their coach's job. And so for them, like Matt Rule's gone and they get Steve Wilkes in there and then they come out with the upset. That's interesting to me. So something I'm going to watch.
I just, this might be a case kind of like Flores in Miami where, the Miami ownership was like, yeah, we want to tank this season. And he's like, no. And so he's win. Tampa does not want to win. I mean, he did everything he could. He got shipped off all their good players.
I know.
He does that. He wants a quarterback next year.
Yeah.
And
with the coaches, they're like, no, I need to win so I can get a job later.
Yes.
Maybe like head coaches, they only get so many opportunities.
So I bet there's some serious tension going on over there. With the owner going, yeah, no, you need to lose, and the coach saying, I'm going to win, and he's got his whole team behind him trying to go out there and play. And Tapper's probably going, what the?
Where was this last year?
I don't want P.J. Walker as my quarterback for the next 5 years. I want to draft the quarterback high. Yeah. He's already got his eye on somebody, but anyhow, even Shaq Barrett on his mic'd up. They had him mic'd up on the against the Ravens. He talked to the offensive line about their holding. He was talking to one of the offensive linemen, and he said, "Man, y'all always be holding," And I was like, "Yeah, yes." And I wish players could come out and say that to the press or the fans or whatever, but they can't. They get in trouble and get fined and all that good stuff. Losing Shaq Barrett is going to be extremely, extremely difficult. Now, I really like Anthony Nelson, and I like what I saw from him when he came into the game. He was playing really mean, really aggressive, and he was playing great containment, which was good to see. But he's not Shaq Barrett. And one of the things that is going to hurt about Shaq Barrett being gone is his his personality. He was always the guy that would run over and congratulate players when they did something good. And always look for that. Devin White never does.
He's one of the rah-rah guys.
Yes, Shaq Barrett. Even if a guy messed up, Shaq Barrett was going over and, patting him on the helmet or whatever.
I think that's a case of, like, he's one of our veterans that, he's taken on kind of a leadership role a little bit where he, congratulates people or, helps them move on. I just think he's probably in one of the, I would say he's one of our veteran leaders.
Mm-hmm. So it's a really, really big loss losing to him. Besides the fact that he's, one of the best outside linebackers in the game. Not the best. I would argue that he's top 3 anyhow.
It was an Achilles?
Yes.
And is he getting surgery?
Most likely.
Oh.
And he's out for the season.
Listen, I had an Achilles injury once. I tried running one day and couldn't move both legs. It was awful. It's terrible. 2 weeks.
Well, it was a non-contact injury. I saw it on All 22 because they didn't replay it on the broadcast. And, he made a tackle, or he stretched for a tackle, and you didn't see anything. You were just kind of like, but when he got on the ground, he was sitting on his butt with his legs out in front of him, and he lifted his leg up and he shook his foot. He was just like shaking his foot, kind of like he had a pebble in his shoe. And then he got up and, walked off the field. So I don't know.
When I think of the Achilles, I always think of in Kill Bill 2, where she's in the hospital, Uma Thurman, she's in the hospital, woke up from the coma, and the male nurse is coming in, and she hides under the bed and slices his Achilles, and you hear the snap, and he falls down. Yeah. That's what I always think about.
Wow.
I know. It was like one of those where I was like, oh, it was stuck with me forever. It's gross.
Oh, that's funny. Also in that mic'd up video, there was one section, I was watching it, my daughter was in the room, and there was at one point, it was right after Vita Vea made a sack, and you hear somebody going, yeah! And my daughter was like, what was that noise? And so I rewound it, and I was like, yeah, somebody's really excited. I rewound it. It was Meryl Jahada. She was on the sideline, and she was just, pumped up and
to the point where it picked up her microphone.
Yeah, it picked up because she ran by Shaq Barrett screaming, yeah. She was into it more than anybody else on the field.
She was excited.
Yeah, I like her, man. So, also another thing about this game. This is the last thing I want to say. I like that Nick Leverett. That guy, he's good. I haven't watched all the film on him yet, but he was doing things that Gedeke wasn't doing. Able to get to the second level. Getting off. Being able to block guys, get off of them, go block somebody else. He didn't seem to get beat that I saw. But one of the things I really liked about him was, Jesus, the energy he's got. That guy was just jumping up and down and hooting and hollering, and every we get a first down, and he's out there acting like we just won the Super Bowl. I've never seen an offensive lineman with that much energy.
We desperately need that on the offense.
Yeah, we do. He also had a video right before Halloween where they decorated the offensive lineman's room or something like that, and he was taking everybody through, or taking the camera through and showing all the mannequins and stuff. It was pretty cool. He's a character. And we saw him on his press conference. He's just seems like a likable guy with a lot of damn energy. For an offensive lineman, I ain't never seen an offensive lineman with that much energy.
I don't understand why they didn't have him starting before.
Well, you brought it up when we were talking about it, that, maybe they had him as a backup center and they didn't want to put him out there because if anything happens to Ainsley, then...
Yeah. That would be my leading theory.
Yeah. I hope they keep him out there. I like Gedeke, but he's just not ready.
They just threw him to the wolves.
Yeah. All right. So we got the Rams coming up.
Tomorrow. It's a 4:00 game.
Oh, it is 4 o'clock?
Yes.
Dang it.
I know.
I didn't know that.
I know.
That was 1 o'clock. It's at home, right?
I think.
Buccaneers?
I don't know. I think so. Like, we're
So-
not traveling.
So we got,
Yeah, it's at home.
and that's quite a few home games in a row there. And unfortunately, the Munich game, it counts as a home game, too. That sucks. Yeah.
I hate those games.
Yeah. 9 o'clock in the morning. Ugh. So Winfield is out. He's still in the concussion protocol. Yeah, Cameron Brate out, neck injury.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Gage out, right?
Yes.
Which, honestly, Brate and Gage, I mean,
I know.
but Winfield, that hurts.
Yeah.
We really missed him against Baltimore.
Yeah. And Gedeke.
Gedeke's out. Okay. But we are getting back Akeem Hicks, right? Well, maybe he'll get us some push up the middle, man. God, we need it. We're not getting anything up the middle. Nothing. Nada.
But he's questionable. He's still on the injury report.
He could have played last week, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Well, here's hoping.
Yeah. Have we heard anything about Logan Ryan? He should be eligible coming back from the IR next week after. He got surgery on his foot. We miss him too. He was balling out there. But our safeties didn't do too well. Edwards wasn't real impressed with his performance against Baltimore. We need these guys back, man. Our free agency this year sucked. I ain't gonna lie. They've all been hurt. They've all underperformed. I mean, Kyle Rudolph, what's he done?
I know. Was inactive the first 3 games.
Yeah. Yeah, Akeem Hicks has been injured. Mm-hmm. Logan Ryan's been injured. Julio Jones has been injured. Russell Gage has been injured.
Maybe we did not need BA in the front office.
You think he's picking up all these? And a lot of these guys they're forcing us to have to play guys we don't want to play.
That are not ready.
That are not ready. Like Gedeke, with Stenny getting hurt. Mm-hmm. Not that he was a free agent or anything, but we didn't expect to play Gedeke, and we had to. Kate Otten, we didn't expect to play him so much.
Yeah, but starter. I mean, we're kind of seeing what we're getting with him, and
it's
been good. It's been a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, very impressed with him. Zion McCullum, he's been starting. Hainsey, he's not a rookie, but
second year.
This is his,
or third
first game.
Yeah,
second year. The first starts was this year, and he wasn't expecting to play either. So we've had quite a few guys that have been thrust into this, and. That hasn't helped. Nick Leverett, Kate Otten. Although Kate Otten, I think we knew we were going to play him.
Yeah.
So he knew it. So the Rams, they're pretty much in the same boat we are.
I know.
Their offensive line is devastated. I think they're getting some guys back, but
they're 3-4.
Yeah, they can't get any running game going. Quarterback's been stinking it up.
They have Cam Akers, who they're trying to trade. He wants a trade. They're sitting him. So they've got some turmoil with their roster in the locker room.
And it surprises me that Winfield isn't going to be playing, too, because I think he really wants to get revenge on Cooper Kupp for that.
Playoffs.
That pass in the playoffs.
I know.
Winfield, the kind of player he is just played that over and over in his head all off season. Our team wants revenge on this, and we need, and this is the thing, both teams need to go out there and perform well in this game, because they're both scraping the bottom of the barrel. One of them, somebody's coming away with a victory, most likely.
Yeah.
Could be a tie, though, the way these two teams are playing.
Well, and it'll have implications provided we both make it to the playoffs.
I don't know if they will. Look at Seattle. What are they? 6-1?
And they lost to San Francisco twice already.
Dang. Well, San Francisco's beat them like 5 years in a row. Except in the playoffs last year.
But should we both make it to the playoffs, this game will have playoff implications potentially.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they got Cooper Kupp. He's always a threat, even though he's got a hurt ankle right now. He's going to be out there playing. He's going to ball. He's going to probably catch 100 yards on us.
I know.
Yeah. There's no stopping him. He's
optimistic.
It's the weirdest thing. Everybody knows he's getting the ball, and somehow he ends up getting wide open.
No team. I've never seen a team stop him.
Nobody stops
him.
You can't stop him.
Does he apparate? I don't know. He just one place 1 second, another place another second, wide open.
Yeah.
Can't bring him down.
They've got Aaron Donald. He's going to be going up against Hainsey, Leverett, Mason. And it's going to be tough for those guys on this one. But other than that, they're hurting. They're coming in limping. We're limping. Both teams need this game, and not just need the win. Because somebody's going to walk away with a win, most likely. I doubt if it'll be a tie. 0-0 tie. But both teams need good performances.
Mm-hmm.
They need a good performance against a good team. And, I'm telling you, ours, and probably with the Rams too, it's just completely mental. I think the Rams are going, Super Bowl hangover.
Mm-hmm.
And the Buccaneers, honestly, I think it's leadership. I think Todd Bowles' style is just, they went from Bruce Arians, who, is very quick-witted, quick to run his mouth, quick to call you out. Actually,
has energy
in his golf cart.
I know, I was just thinking that. But, I mean,
verbal
he's
energy.
got,
Yeah.
I feel like the dude can, the dude can, party.
Right.
And, hang with you all night. That's what I mean by, energy.
He's an extrovert.
Yeah.
He's, whereas Todd Bowles, introvert, doesn't say a whole lot. He's more sarcastic than he is biting.
Soft-spoken.
Right. Arians is going to call you out no matter if you're Tom Brady or the water boy. He's going to say you suck, you did this wrong, Todd Bowles ain't going to do that. And I think that has infected our team, that kind of morose, because leadership it happens. No matter whether you like your leader or not, you get infected by their character and personality. And then I think that could have been overcome, and it's not a knock on Bowles. I like Bowles and I want him to do well, but he's just very blah. That could have been overcome if Tom Brady was on his game. But I think Tom Brady's divorce, think about this. This guy is not lost. He's a winner. He doesn't like to lose. Now he's losing the most important thing that he's ever won. His supermodel wife and his family is gone. He's lost. He's a loser. And every man that goes through a divorce, no matter if they want the divorce or not, they feel like a loser. It's just how it is. And Tom Brady's not used to that. And there's nothing he can do. He can't win that game. He can't practice. He can't do reps. He's never going to get it back. And I think it's just something that has just devastated him. You can look at him physically. He's devastated. And his decision-making hasn't been all that great. His passes have been off. He's not, he's just kind of checked out almost, but I don't think it's that he's checked out. I think he's just in a fog. I think this whole team is in a fog.
That's how it feels.
Yeah. So we need this win. Something's got to snap us out of it. I don't know what that something is. I don't know how to do it. I don't know if anybody does. But I was encouraged to see all the guys having a good attitude after that game. Jamel Dean, he said after the game, he went home.
Yeah, that was one of the ones. And he was the most surprising to me. He's kind of grown the most, I felt like. Because a couple of years ago, I know he was so, in this press conference, he was so talkative and chatty and smiling and laughing. And a couple of years ago,
and saying some really good stuff. I mean, he wasn't up there just
yucking it up.
Yeah, or doing coach speak. He was doing legitimate good answers to questions and had some insightful stuff. But he said that after that Ravens game, what did he say? He slept all. He went home and stayed in bed because he felt like he'd been hit by a truck. I don't know if it was physically, but probably was, or if just the mental aspect of it. Because everybody just seemed like they just got beat up, bullied. So hopefully it'll kick them in the rear.
Yeah.
Wake them up out of this fog.
Yeah.
What do you think? You think it'll happen against the Rams?
I thought it would have happened after the Carolina game. And we kind of did. Like, I felt like in the first quarter of the Ravens game, we looked great.
They got the ball. We had that muffed punt, and they got the ball on the 6-yard line or something like that. And our defense held them to 3 points. I mean, our defense basically shut them out in the first half. They scored 3 points in the first half. And that was like a 2-yard gain, Then they kicked a field goal. So our defense was playing great.
Yeah.
Our offense was, yucking it up, going down the field, scoring. We scored 10 points.
And then they just petered out. It's just not being able to finish like that, like carry that energy through the whole game. It's got to be so demoralizing.
But we saw it, and we know it's still there. That was the takeaway I got from it.
Yeah, but like how many times are you like, you come back from something and then it tanks or whatever, and it's so demoralizing, and then you're like, screw it, like forget it.
But and that's how I felt they did. But then watching the game tape, not at all. That's not what they did. I mean, they were trying all the way through the game.
Yeah.
So that was encouraging.
Well, I think my concern is more like the offense, not the defense.
Yeah, I didn't go all the way through the offense.
Like the offense is what concerns me more. Just because, Tom Brady, I think, has been just the backbone for all this time, that I think a lot of the guys are not. There's no number 2. Who's the number 2? Who's the first mate?
Yeah,
who the captain goes down, they're going to take, I mean? So there's no one to step in. And I just think, like, Tom is he's just larger than life, I think, to a lot of these guys, where they all idolize him. And so it's hard when you look up to someone like that and you play behind somebody like that to feel like you could even pretend, it would just be such big shoes to fill. It would be very overwhelming. So you have, like, Mike Evans, I think, is a guy theoretically on the team who is suited for that. But I think his ego, he doesn't have, like, the ego to be able to, I think he knows, like, how far above Tom is than everybody else as far as that goes. And so I think he's just humble enough to know that. And and then who else is even capable, or I just don't, who else is there? There's no one else.
Right.
So it's just.
Yeah. And I think leadership is a big issue right now.
Yeah. I just think, Tom's just not at a point where he can do it.
No, you got to. Have we ever seen this in sports? I can't ever recall a divorce in sports like this. And for one, most athletes don't last to be 45 years old and go through a divorce. You know?
Or have a 20-some-year marriage.
Right.
I mean, if they go through a divorce, it's like, oh, they married this bitch after 3 months, and then it's like it's a Kim Kardashian situation or whatever.
Right,
you
right.
know, like,
we've never seen this before that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
And you're saying that, most of these guys have seen Tom as larger than life and everything, and now they're seeing him basically broken.
Yeah.
And it's probably freaking them out too, because these guys are young. They don't know. They to see their leader and their idol, whatever, this guy who is probably considered one of the most, the greatest athletes that's ever lived, to be brought to his knees by something like this, and it's not, I'm not knocking the guy at all, because the divorces are hard, and relationships, especially when you got kids.
I think like our society so much makes it out like divorce is just no big deal. You can just go get one and it's whatever. You'll be fine. There's plenty of fish in the sea. Get on Tinder. No, it really sucks.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
And they talk about, both of them have come out and said that it's amicable and all that good stuff. This was her decision. They
always say that.
Yeah, they always say that. This was her decision. She wanted it, and she did it during the season. He's having to go to all these court hearings. He had to do a parental counseling class that was court ordered, like 3 days before the Steelers game, or maybe the Baltimore game. I can't remember which. But yeah, so he's having to go through all this during the season, and she knows that. She couldn't wait. 5 months.
Well, that's my theory about what he missed training camp for. I think it was court proceedings, probably.
Yeah.
And they just said, oh, it's a family vacation to the Bahamas, because none of them wanted to talk about it.
How do we all feel so stupid about the whole Masked Singer thing now? It's like that was the theory.
I'm sure Tom would have preferred to be on the Masked Singer.
Yeah, for sure.
But because when they announced that their divorce, that they were getting divorced, it was finalized already. And I think, unless you've been through it, court proceedings don't happen quickly.
No.
Often. No. And so for them to have already gone through everything that they had to do to get divorced officially, this has been going on quite a while.
Yeah. It just seems like if she wasn't mad at him or wanted to get back at him or anything, she just would have waited till after the season. They could have taken care of it then, but this is going on during the season. It's her choice, because if it was left up to him, I'm sure he would have said, can we deal with this after the season? And she was probably like, no, the season is the reason why we're getting a divorce. So screw you. I'm going to do it now and ruin your season. So, it's obvious it's having an effect on him, and I think it's... And
especially, divorces, even amicable, I'm sure things have been said in the process that are very hurtful, especially, if he's having to go through parental classes and stuff like that. Things have been said about his parenting, clearly, in court and out of court. I
think in Florida it's a...
is it a requirement?
When you get divorced and you have children, you have to go. I know, it's all stupid. It's just a way for these people to make money. You have to lay down $300 to go to the court mandated parenting classes or whatever. Well, all right. So what do you think is going to happen with the Rams game?
Oh, God. Okay. The score.
This is a
yeah. I got the score. Hold on.
Oh, you got one already?
Yeah.
What is it?
13-12.
Really?
Yes.
Who do you think is going to score 13 points?
I'm going with the Bucs. We're gonna eke it out.
Wow. All right.
We're so evenly matched, and we're both at we're both at the point where it's 13-12. Realist. Yes.
Wow.
That's how I feel.
All right. Well, I'm going to go against my better judgment here because I think it's going to be a close game. I'm thinking something like 24-21, 2017, something like that nature.
Have we even put up that many points in a game yet?
No. Well, we scored 21 against the Falcons. But I'm not betting what I think here, or not saying what I think. I'm saying what I hope. So I'm hoping the Buccaneers are gonna get their shit together and
go big, baby.
I'm going big. I'm gonna say 34.
Wow.
20. Rams 20.
How are we gonna
I think we're gonna want to embarrass somebody, man. And the Rams they need to be embarrassed after what they did to us last year. Jerks.
Y'all had it coming. See what you made me do?
That's right. So, but honestly, if I had to bet money on this, a lot of money that I couldn't afford to lose, I would say kind of like what you said, but I think they'll score a little bit more than that. But, 2017, 21, 20, 24, 21, something like that.
Our just inability
and honestly,
to move.
I don't know who's going to win.
I know.
It really depends on who.
I know.
What teams show up out there.
Yeah. It just our inability to move down the field.
God, it's so weird.
It is the weirdest thing because the past 3 years, it's 2 years.
Since even with Jameis, we were able to.
You couldn't stop
Mike
us.
Evans,
yeah.
Since we've had Mike Evans,
yeah,
especially Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, we have scored points.
Yeah.
And we've moved down the field almost at will. This year has been, which is weird. I mean, we're just 3 and outing all over the place.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll get 4 or 5 plays. But we're not going anywhere.
Oh, God.
And then when we get in the red zone, we're not doing anything. It's just weird. This team it's like they're stuck in molasses or something. I don't know.
Just in a fog.
I've got faith in them. I was very encouraged watching that all 22 and seeing how hard they were playing after being out on that field. I mean, the time of possession was just completely lopsided, like almost 10-minute difference. They were out there. They had 70-some plays, the Ravens did.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Ridiculous. I think they beat us by like 20 plays. So,
but only 5 points.
Yeah. That's true.
That's encouraging.
Right. And, seeing the defense was out there, just still trying to play that whole time. They weren't slacking off or loafing or anything that I thought I was going to see, that I felt like I saw on the broadcast. Tell you, the holding was a big deal. And the holding really made our team look worse than it was. And, they're just a damn good team. Lamar Jackson, man, he's the real deal. He ain't nothing to be playing around with. So it is what it is, and we got the Rams coming up. I don't know if I'm excited about it or not. So we've only won one game in the past 6.
I know. It feels.
I'm tired.
It feels that way.
Feels like the old Buccaneers, don't it? Mm-hmm. Ugh.
And every game, you lose a little bit more hope.
Yeah.
It's like, oh. We're going to turn it around, though. Football starts in November.
Right. That's how I'm thinking. I'm thinking Brady's telling everybody, okay, now, we got the kinks out. Everybody stop whining and crying and feeling sorry for yourself. Football starts now. Mm-hmm. And hopefully, with Akeem Hicks coming back, we'll get some push up the middle, pressure the quarterback a little bit. At least stop the running game. Something. Jesus. All right. You got anything else?
That is it.
All right, guys. Till next time.
Go Bucs.